All right, today we're going to dive into one of the most absolutely incredible transformations in the entire animal kingdom. It's a story that stretches back 40,000 years, a story of how a chance encounter, this accidental alliance, completely reshaped one animal into something entirely new.
I mean, just look at the contrast. On one side, you've got the gray wolf. It's a powerful, sleek hunter, built for the wild, and they all look pretty much the same. And on the other side, the dog. From a tiny Chihuahua that fits in your purse to a Great Dane that's bigger than you are. The diversity is just staggering. And the craziest part? They both come from the exact same ancestor.
So that's the big question, right? How in the world did a fearsome, wild predator turn into the loyal companion literally sitting at our feet right now? Well, the answer is not at all what you'd think.
So let's trace this journey all the way back to the beginning, because this wasn't some single event. It was this slow, sprawling evolutionary process that got started way, way before humans ever thought, hey, I'd like a pet.
You know, the most fascinating part of this whole story is that our ancestors didn't just march out into the woods with a plan to tame wolves. Not at all. The first and maybe the most important step towards domestication was a complete accident. It had nothing to do with control and everything to do with leftovers.
The leading theory for how this all kicked off is something called the commensal pathway. It sounds fancy, but it's pretty simple. It just describes a relationship where one animal benefits and the other one, well, it isn't really helped or hurt. And in this situation, it was the wolves who saw a golden opportunity. Okay, so let's break down how this worked. First, you've got ancient human camps. They were messy, leaving behind piles of food scraps, basically a free all-you-can-eat buffet for a wild animal. Now, only the boldest wolves would dare get close, but critically, they also had to be the least aggressive ones. The skittish ones starved, and the aggressive ones got chased off or killed. So being calm suddenly became this huge survival advantage. They got easy meals, they lived longer, and they passed those bolder, calmer genes down to their pups. And just like that, a whole new lineage of what we call proto-dogs started to appear, shaped not by people, but by the garbage we left behind.
So here's the key takeaway. Humans were basically a passive force in all this. We didn't choose the wolves, our trash piles did. You could say we were just a feature of the landscape, like a mountain or a river, and the wolves that learned how to navigate that new feature were the ones who thrived.
Now, this is where the story gets really, really weird. As these proto-dogs were slowly being selected for just one single thing, tameness, something totally unexpected started to happen to their bodies.
Scientists have a name for this phenomenon: domestication syndrome, and it's this predictable collection of physical changes that just shows up across all kinds of species. Pigs, horses, even foxes, anytime they're bred specifically for being friendly.
You can think of tameness as a package deal. When you select for it, you get this whole bundle of other traits you didn't even ask for. Things like floppy ears, curly tails, spotted coats, and even smaller teeth. On top of that, these animals tend to act like puppies their whole lives. None of these traits were chosen on purpose. They just came along for the ride.
So why? Why does this happen? The best idea we have points to something called neural crest cells. In an embryo, these are like the master control cells. They have a big say in adrenaline, which controls fear and aggression. But here's the kicker. They also influence things like the cartilage in ears, the length of a snout, and the pigment in fur. So by picking the calmest animals, our ancestors were indirectly turning down the dial on these master cells, which set off a whole cascade of physical changes.
And that brings us to the second huge chapter in our story. This accidental alliance had created a tamer, friendlier animal that was already focused on us. And at that point, our ancestors stepped in and decided to take the driver's seat. The age of accidental evolution was over, and the age of intentional design began. See, as humans started building permanent towns and farming, we looked at these proto-dogs and had a realization. They could be incredibly useful. They weren't just hangers-on anymore, they were potential coworkers. And so we started to purposefully breed them to do specific jobs.
And this is where you really see us start to sculpt dogs like clay. You need a dog that chases down fast prey. Okay, let's breed for a sleek, aerodynamic body, and you get a greyhound. You need to guard your home? Let's select for massive size and power, and you get a mastiff. And for managing livestock, you need a dog with incredible intelligence, which gives us the brilliant border collie.
And once we started, we didn't stop.
This process of selective breeding just absolutely exploded. From that one wolf ancestor, we now have over 350 officially recognized breeds. It is one of the most incredible displays of physical variety within a single mammal species on the entire planet. It's just wild.
So let's put it all together. From this chance partnership forged around ancient campfires to a deliberate, multi-millennia design project, the wolf wasn't just tamed, it was completely remade from the inside out.
I mean, the physical changes are obvious, but the really deep changes are biological. Dogs literally evolved the ability to digest starches, which is a direct result of eating our leftover bread and grains. And maybe the most amazing change of all, they learned to understand us. They get what it means when we point at something, a complex social cue that their wolf cousins just completely ignore. Dogs are biologically wired to cooperate with humans.
When you get right down to it, the story of the dog is the ultimate testament to the incredible power of artificial selection. By taking control and choosing which animals get to reproduce, we humans became the main evolutionary force in their lives, speeding up change at a rate that nature almost never matches.
The journey from wolf to dog is just undeniable proof of our ability to profoundly change the biology of the species around us, sometimes without even trying. And that leaves us with a really powerful question. Knowing what we're capable of, what does that mean for our responsibility to all the other life we share this planet with?